Good day, everyone. Today, me and my members will be discussing the science, technology, and national development the Philippine experience. But before that, let me introduce myself. I am Crisal Canales together with Heart Bailon, LG Batak, and Rainier Navarro. So, let us proceed to historical development of science and technology in the Philippines, pre-colonial to modern era. Historical development of science and technology in the Philippines spanning from pre-colonial times to the modern era. It highlights the revolution from indigenous practices and crafts to the introduction of Western science during Spanish and American colonization. It also mentions the establishment of government institutions like the Department of Science and Technology or DOS and the challenges of economic development such as funding and low salaries that have impacted growth in the field. Pre-colonial era before 1565. Folk knowledge and indigenous practices. Filipinos developed practical knowledge and skills for survival, including herbal medicine, agriculture, astronomy, and metallurgy. Early Filipinos possess extensive knowledge of medical plants and their uses. They developed farming techniques suited to the local environment, including terracing, for example, the Banawi rice terraces. The Banawi rice terraces were carved into the mountains of Ifugao in the Philippines by the ancestors of the Igorot people. Anthropologist Otley Bayer estimated that the terraces are over 2,000 years old. They observed the stars and used this knowledge for navigation, agriculture, and tracking seasons. They had skills in metalworking, creating tools, weapons, and ornaments. Sophisticated craftsmanship. Early Filipinos created stone and shell ornaments, produced pottery, and demonstrated advanced engineering with structures like the Manawi rice terraces. They produced pottery for cooking, storage, and trade. They crafted intricate ornaments from stone and shells for symbolic communication, cultural significance, recording information, resource availability, spiritual beliefs, and trade and adornment. The construction of these terraces demonstrates advanced engineering skills and a deep understanding of land management. Trade and shipbuilding. Early Filipinos were skilled shipbuilders, creating advanced vessels like the Caracoa, which were used for trade, warfare, and exploration. These ships were noted by early Spanish accounts for their speed and maneuverability. They developed advanced seafaring technologies, allowing them to navigate vast distances and engage in trade with neighboring islands and countries. Spanish colonial period marked a significant shift in the development of science and technology in the Philippines, primarily through the introduction of formal Western education and institutions. However, this development was largely constrained by the colonial agenda. Introduction of formal education. The Spanish, particularly religious orders, founded the first schools, colleges, and universities in the archipelago. Key institutions include the University of Santo Tomas and Colegio de San Juan de Letran. These institutions laid the groundwork for formal academic learning. Education was heavily centered on religion, as a primary goal of colonization was Christianization. Education was heavily centered on religion, as a primary goal of colonization was Catholicism. Subjects like mathematics, medicine, philosophy, and law were also taught, but often with a strong theological underpinning. The primary purpose was to train local elites in Spanish language and the God, gold, and glory. God is for spreading Catholicism, gold for economic gain and spice trade, and glory for power and prestige. Limited development. Despite the establishment of this institution, genuine scientific and technological progress was slow and uneven. The overriding priority was the propagation of Catholicism and the maintenance of Spanish colonial rule. Research was largely practical, aimed at solving immediate problems of the colonial administration. In short, the Spanish introduced formal education in the Philippines, but scientific growth was limited by their focus on religion and colonial interests. American period. Rapid expansion of education and research. The U.S. regime significantly accelerated the growth of science and technology through establishing the secular public education system, offering scholarship for scientific and engineering studies abroad, and founding research agencies focused on agriculture, medicine, and related sciences, laying the groundwork for future development in these fields. In post-independence and modern era, from 1946 to present, the Philippines has focused on building its science and technology capabilities to drive national development, establishing institutions like the Department of Science and Technology to coordinate research and allocate resources towards key sectors such as agriculture, health, and renewable energy. Despite these efforts to align S&T with economic goals and address societal needs, the sector faces persistent challenges including insufficient funding for research and development, limited support for basic scientific inquiry, and low compensation for scientists and engineers, contributing to a brain drain and hindering the country's ability to fully capitalize on its potential innovation and technological advancement on a global scale. And now let us proceed to key government policies and national plans. The Department of Science and Technology focuses on innovation and R&D in emerging technologies like AI and quantum computing. Department of Science and Technology, Innovation and Research and Development. DOST or Department of Science and Technology leads national research and development of R&D focusing on high-impact programs in areas like artificial intelligence, quantum computing, Industry 4.0, smart agriculture, and biologics. Supporting innovation, the DOST or DOS actively works with the private sector, academe, and research institution to drive innovation, promote digitalization, and support entrepreneurship. Department of Science and Technology, Policy Alignment. Science for the People. The DOST strategic plan from 2017 to 2022 emphasized a science for the people approach, aligning R&D with socio-economic goals and the development plan. Department of Information and Communications Technology strategic plans. Government Master Plan launched in 2024 and EGMP is a national strategy to unify ICT initiatives and transform public services aiming for a secure, integrated, and transparent government. National Cybersecurity Plan. The DICT also developed the National Cybersecurity Plan from 2023 to 2028 to strengthen the nation's defenses against cyber threats and ensure the security of digital systems. Department of Information and Communications Technology platforms. Promoting digital platforms, the DICT supports the integration of various government services through national digital platforms, facilitating easier access for citizens. E-governance programs, ID and legislative support. A key e-governance initiatives is the Digital National ID, accessible through the eGovPH Super App, which serves as a valid proof of identification and allows access to integrated government and private services in one platform. E-Governance Act, the, dev- the government has expressed strong legislative support for the E-Governance Act, which aims to formalize digital governance, strengthen cybersecurity, and manage data more effectively. E-governance programs integration tools. The Department of Information and Communications Technology aims to use the ENGA APIs to connect different government systems and agencies, supporting a once only data entry policy to improve efficiency and reduce redundancy. Philippine e-government master plan. The e-government master plan, with a vision for a digitally empowered nation, provides a roadmap for strategic ICT development and service delivery. Notes the Department of Budget and Management.
Filipino scientists, innovators, and changemakers. Dr. Fe Del Mundo, a pediatrician and national scientist, first woman admitted to Harvard Medical School. She founded the first pediatric hospital in the Philippines. She invented a low-cost bamboo incubator for rural areas. She is an advocate for child health and accessible medical care. Dr. Diosdado Dato Banatao, an engineer and technopreneur, known as the father of the semiconductor chip design, developed the first single-chip graphical user interface accelerator. He inspires Filipino youth in technology and innovation, runs scholarships for engineers. Dr. Abelardo Aguilar, a scientist and inventor. He co-discovered erythromycin, a powerful antibiotic. The drug became a global success, saving millions of lives. His discovery highlighted Filipino talent in global pharmaceutical research. Dr. Edgardo Gomez, a marine biologist and environmental advocate, a pioneer in coral reef conservation in the Philippines, led the establishment of the Marine Science Institute at UP Diliman. His research influenced marine protection laws and policies. Dr. Ramon C. Barba, a horticulturist. He invented a chemical method to induce flowering in mango trees, making them available year-round. This boosted the Philippine mango industry internationally. His work increased agricultural productivity and farmer income. Maria Corazon Cory Aquino, a political change maker, the first female president of the Philippines. She restored democracy after the Marcos dictatorship through the People Power Revolution. She is a symbol of peaceful revolution and women empowerment. Maria Ressa, a journalist and change maker, the co-founder of Rappler, known for defending press freedom and fighting disinformation, a global voice for truth, democracy, and digital freedom. Benjamin Almeda Sr. was a Filipino inventor and engineer. He is known as the father of Filipino inventors. He invented several food processing machines such as the meat grinder, rice grinder, and coconut grater, among others. In 1954, he founded the Almeda Cottage Industry, now known as Almeda Food Machineries Corporation, to manufacture his inventions. Gregorio Zara, a Filipino engineer, physicist, inventor, and national scientist of the Philippines. He is known as the father of video conferencing. He invented the two-way video phone, allowing people to see and talk to each other. He discovered the Sara effect, explaining electrical kinetic resistance when contacts are in motion. He also developed an alcohol-fueled airplane engine, and lastly created solar energy devices such as solar water heaters and solar batteries. He was conferred as National Scientist in 1978 for his outstanding contributions to science and technology in the Philippines. Cherry Atilano, the founder of Agrea Agricultural Systems International Incorporation. Agrea stands for Agriculture plus Greener Environment for All. Agrea is an agro-social enterprise with goals of zero hunger, zero waste, zero insufficiency, working to build a one-island economy model in places like Marinduque. Current trends in digital transformation. Public sector digital transformation now focuses on expanding online services and automating workflows to boost efficiency, transparency, and citizen satisfaction. AI and robotic process automation are being implemented to automate routine tasks, freeing up public sector employees to focus on more complex work and significantly reducing processing times. Cloud adoption. Governments are moving towards cloud-based platforms for secure, centralized storage of public records, enabling easier access to data and fostering collaboration across different departments. Data-driven governance. The use of data analytics and big data allows governments to analyze information, understand citizen needs, predict trends, and make more informed policy decisions, leading to better resource allocation. Platform-based solutions. Governments are increasingly adopting integrated platform solutions that act as a single point of access for various digital services, promoting interoperability and more cohesive user experience. Citizen-centric services. The focus is shifting to creating more user-friendly and responsive digital services that meet citizens' expectations for convenience and efficiency, similar to the ease of private sector services. Enhanced transparency. Automated workflows and digital records make government processes more transparent by automatically notifying constituents as steps are completed and by making information more accessible. Digital maturity. Efforts are being made to increase the digital literacy of the population to ensure that all citizens can access and utilize the new digital services effectively.
Let's move on to the challenges in science and technology adoption in offices. Digital literacy gaps. So there are three main digital literacy gaps. First one is lack of skills and knowledge. Some employees or even managers don't know how to use new tools or systems properly. For example, others may struggle to use apps like Google Workspace or online meeting platforms. Next is varying digital competence. Some workers are more comfortable using technology while others find it difficult, which affects teamwork and productivity. For instance, one employee may finish online tasks faster while another needs help just to log in or send a file. Lastly, need for continuous upskilling. Technology changes quickly, so employees must keep learning to stay updated. For example, companies often hold digital training sessions to help workers learn new software or systems. Infrastructure issues. There are also three major infrastructure problems. The first one is poor internet connectivity. Slow or unstable internet can interrupt meetings or make online tools hard to use. For instance, during virtual meetings, the video may lag or disconnect due to weak internet. Next one is outdated systems. Some offices still use old computers or programs that can support modern software. For example, using old versions of Windows might prevent new apps from running smoothly. The last one is lack of access to devices. Not all employees have personal or updated digital devices. For instance, small businesses may share one computer for multiple workers. Other key challenges. First one is cost of technology. Upgrading systems or buying new software can be expensive. For example, a company may delay switching to modern computers due to limited budget. Next is cybersecurity and data privacy. Using digital systems increases the risk of data breaches. For instance, hackers may steal company files if security is weak. Next is organizational culture. Some employees resist change or the management doesn't support digital transformation. For example, older staff may prefer traditional paperwork instead of online forms. Lastly, lack of supportive policies. Without clear policies or rules, it's harder to manage technology use properly. For instance, a company might not have a clear guidelines on data sharing or online behavior. In conclusion, this challenges shows that while technology can make office work faster and more efficient, companies must also invest in digital skills, reliable infrastructure, good security, and clear policies to successfully adapt to modern technology. Now, let's proceed to the opportunities for administrative modernization. Administrative modernization can be achieved by using AI, digital records, and CRM systems to improve efficiency and service delivery. Artificial intelligence and government offices. There are four main opportunities offered by AI. The first one is automated workflows. AI can handle repetitive work like file sorting, data entry, and redacting personal details so employees can focus on more important tasks. For example, AI can automatically classify documents instead of doing it manually. Second is enhanced decision making. AI analyzes large sets of data to find patterns and trends that help improve policies and allocate resources more effectively. For instance, AI can help predict which communities need more public services based on data trends. Third, improved service delivery. AI-powered chatbots or virtual assistants can help citizens access information or apply for services easily. For example, an AI chatbot can answer questions about government benefits or appointments 24/7. Lastly is the proactive problem solving. AI can forecast future needs and risks before they become big problems. For instance, AI can analyze traffic or weather data to help prepare for floods or accidents. Digitization of records. So, there are three main opportunities in digitizing government records. The first one is improve accessibility. Digital records are easier to search, retrieve, and share, saving time and reducing paperwork. For example, instead of manually searching files in storage, staff can find a record with one click. The second one is enhanced transparency. Digital databases allow citizens to easily access public information, promoting trust and accountability. For instance, people can check government reports online instead of filing requests. Third one is efficient records management. AI tools can help organize and classify digitized records automatically. For example, AI can label and sort thousands of scanned files for faster access. Customer Relationship Management or CRM systems. CRM systems also create great opportunities for better citizen service. First is personalized services. AI-powered CRM tools can understand citizen needs and help deliver customized services. For example, a system might remind someone when their government ID or license is about to expire. Second, streamlined citizen engagement. CRM systems make communication between the government and citizens smoother and faster. For instance, citizens can receive real-time updates about their service, request, or applications. Third, data-driven insights. CRM systems collect and analyze feedback and usage data to help improve future services. For example, agencies can track which services people use most and where improvements are needed. Key benefits across all areas. Increased efficiency. Automation reduces manual work and speeds up processes. For example, digital forms are faster to process than handwritten documents. Better citizen services. Agencies can deliver faster, more personalized, and more reliable assistance. For instance, online portals help citizens access services anytime without going to offices. Greater transparency and accountability. Open and digital systems allow citizens to see how government works, building trust. For example, people can monitor how projects are progressing through public dashboards. Cost savings. Automation and digital tools reduce paperwork, errors, and repetitive tasks. For example, online transactions saves money that would otherwise be spent on printing and manpower. In conclusion, administrative modernization through AI, digitization, and CRM systems helps the government work smarter, serve citizens better, and operate more efficiently. These tools make public service faster, more transparent, and more connected to people's needs.
Future prospects for the Philippine office worker in a digital economy. Philippine office workers face a future shaped by digital transformation, hybrid work models, and rising demand for digital skills. Key trends shaping the future. Hybrid work models.
By 2027, a significant portion of Metro Manila's BPO and tech companies are predicted to adopt hybrid work, shifting focus to output over hours and emphasizing digital collaboration.
Accelerated digital adoption.
SMEs are rapidly adopting cloud-based solutions, e-signatures, paperless HR, and AI-powered chatbots for improved efficiency and employee engagement.
Growth in the digital economy.
The Philippine digital economy is experiencing significant expansion with government initiatives focused on infrastructure, digital inclusion, and workforce development.
Opportunities for workers. Increased demand for digital skills.
The government Spark, which means strengthening the Philippine workforce through adaptive and responsive digital knowledge, initiative aims to bridge the digital skills gaps by providing future-proof training.
Online and gig economy.
There's a significant and growing trend in online freelancing and gig work, providing flexible arrangement and contributing to the national economy.
BPO and IT sector expansion.
The business process outsourcing BPO industry continues to grow, focusing on areas like software development, data mining, and customer support, often supported by digital tools.
Challenges and considerations. Digital divide.
Uneven access to digital infrastructure and internet connectivity remains a significant challenge, especially in rural areas.
Upscaling and reskilling.
As automation increases, there's a critical need to focus on upskilling and reskilling the workforce for tasks requiring creativity and complex problem solving.
Worker protections.
The rise of the gig economy and online work brings challenges related to worker protections, as there are currently no specific laws governing work conditions for online workers. Cybersecurity threats. The expanding digital economy presents ongoing risk from cyber attacks, requiring robust security measures.
Outlook. Philippine office workers face major changes from automation and hybrid work setups. However, the expanding digital economy and focus on skills training create new opportunities. Ongoing upskilling and strong digital support from government and businesses will be key to success.